It all starts with a confused young man wondering where he could be. Then he remembers facing a truck and then he should be long gone by now. Suddenly he starts hearing voices and has no idea who's talking nearby. The voices are discussing an ancestor and a troublesome unborn child who would bring shame to the Luo clan. The protagonist tries to make sense of the conversation and realizes they're talking about a baby with problems. At that moment, his soul floats over a woman, and he begins to understand what happened. He figured out that he was reincarnated into a fantasy world as a baby, and that woman is his new mother. Seeing his mother kneeling before two men, he realizes that he was the problematic baby. The purple-haired man seems determined to get rid of the boy, because those without talent are cast aside. Seeing his mother crying, he wonders if she will also just abandon him. But she raises her head and asks the man if he really thinks that way. The elder shouts that the boy's bones are damaged and can't be compared to the other baby. The woman retorts that her son's bones were affected because she transferred her energy to him. The old man then says that if she really wants to have this child, there is only one way. The only option left is to be expelled from the Lu clan or leave her own son behind. The young man is shocked by the cruelty of the man forcing a mother to make such a decision. Now, all he can think about is what his mother's choice will be in this horrible situation. With tears in her eyes but a firm expression, she seems to have already made up her mind. The woman then caresses her belly one last time before announcing her final choice. Jiang Sixin shouts with all her might that she will leave the Lu clan herself to protect her son. The two elders are shocked and speechless at the woman's courageous decision. Jiang Sixin stands up and says that from now on, her life and her son's life have nothing more to do with the clan. With that, she picks up the token that symbolized her connection to the Lu family. And with all her anger, she throws it to the ground, severing all the ties she had with them. The boy is deeply moved to see his mother's actions, defending him with everything she had. With that, he extends his small hand toward her, trying to offer some kind of support. The baby promises that even if he's useless, he will train to reclaim their dignity. This new determination ends up awakening something within the boy's spiritual body. Suddenly, a strange blue screen appears in front of him with a loading bar. The system informs him that it has detected his will to cultivate and has therefore connected to him. He's thrilled to have gotten a system, but there's still one little thing bothering him. The system's name is Late Bloomer, which basically means he'll take a while to develop. The guy gets furious and yells that he hasn't even been born yet, so how can he be a late bloomer? He then wonders what kind of lazy system this is, already making fun of him from the start. The screen then updates, showing that the system will make him work hard, even inside the womb. The young man decides to activate this thing to see what happens, but he has a bad feeling about it. He finds it very strange that this system appeared 300 years too early. The screen shows that his life will be full of hardships, and everyone will mock him and his mother. Meanwhile, his half-brother will have a good life and will only need pills to live well. And all of this would only change after his mother's passing, when he finally decides to fight against his destiny. The boy refuses to accept this tragic future and shouts that there's no way he'll let that happen. Since the system glitched and arrived 300 years early, he will turn his worthless life into a triumph. He will rewrite his story and become a prodigy who sweeps the heavens with his power. The system then gives him a rookie mission to cultivate for the first time to impress his mother. The reward for this simple task is fusion with the Archsacred body, and he is stunned. This is a legendary physique with an invincible body, capable of challenging even the ancient emperors. With a constitution like that, he is sure he can rise up and fight against his destiny. So, he begins to circulate spiritual energy inside the womb as if he were breathing. His mother feels a strange movement and wonders if her son is unwell in there. She is then shocked by the possibility that her son already knows how to cultivate, even in the womb. The system announces that the mission is complete and the fusion with the Archsacred body will now begin. The inheritance of the ancient sages is initiated, and the baby's body begins to glow intensely. Suddenly, the sky turns dark and lightning starts to fall, startling the woman as she looks out the window. A vision of an archaic emperor appears, showing that all heroes bow before this power. Jiang Sixin feels a golden spiritual essence coursing through her body, repairing her damaged foundation. She wonders how her son, who was born with a deficiency, could cause such a powerful phenomenon. Cultivation begins in the realms of blood transformation, cave heaven, and spiritual manifestation. Reaching cave heaven before adulthood already makes you a genius, and spiritual manifestation makes you a prodigy. But if you break through to spiritual manifestation before adulthood, you are a prodigy among prodigies. The system displays his new status with the name Jiang Wang, and his realm quickly rises to the 4th level. Jiang Wang then declares that he will challenge fate and rewrite his story from this moment on. With this decision made, his mother flies toward a beautiful mountain valley, heading for her home. After some travel, she finally lands in front of her family's residence. Entering the house, she bows and greets her older brother and sister-in-law who were waiting for her. They welcome her warmly and ask the young woman to sit and rest a bit from her journey. Her brother explains that the Lu clan is strong, which is why their parents went to seek an immortal healing emperor. The sister-in-law, however, doesn't seem very happy with the visit and stares at her with a look of contempt. She complains that she warned her about the Lu clan, but now the woman has come crawling back home for scraps. Jiang Sixen says she never wanted anything, and the only thing she desires is her son's safety. Her brother gets irritated and defends his sister, saying the Jiang clan won't leave his nephew without resources. He then tries to calm the situation and tells Jiang Sixen not to take it to heart, as his wife just has a sharp tongue. The young woman smiles and says it's okay as she knows her sister-in-law well and how she is. The baby thinks he expected to be bullied, but the Jiang clan was welcoming. Too bad they aren't very strong. Suddenly, Jiang Sixen's parents arrive and say they brought Sage Miao to restore the boy's roots. A beautiful white-haired woman appears at the door, leaving everyone impressed by her presence. This is Sage Miao from the Celestial Fortune Immortal Palace, a very powerful figure. Jiang Wang is left speechless by the woman's beauty and thinks she is worthy of a Xiangxia world. At that moment, the system gives him a new mission to find a master in a third-tier sector higher. He wonders if the system reacts to strong people and realizes that Sage Miao is the best choice. So he decides to shock the sage by revealing his archaic sacred body, so the clan will value his mother more. Jiang Sixen with a smile asks the sage to proceed, and the baby behind her seems ready for the show. The sage then asks everyone to leave the room so she can examine the unborn child in peace. With that, alone with the boy's mother, the analysis will finally begin. She calms the young woman, saying she won't use spiritual power because the child is weak. The sage then begins the examination, gently placing her hand on the patient's belly. But the baby scoffs, thinking she should say that to her disciple's archaic sacred body. Sage Miao notices something strange and is immediately intrigued by the situation. She wonders if she's been in seclusion for too long, as she felt an aura from the primordial era. Jiang Sixen gets worried by the woman's reaction and asks what's happening. Maya then questions if the baby was truly born without innate strength, as they said before. The mother confirms, saying that was the diagnosis given by the Luo clan's healers. With a smile, the sage decides she will see for herself what the child's true potential is. She then channels a bit of her energy into the woman's belly to test him. The baby sees the energy and doesn't seem to like what his future master is doing. So to show his worth, he decides to unleash the full power of his archaic sacred body. A powerful energy erupts from the belly, and the sage realizes the little one doesn't yield. Mai was impressed and says that if she hadn't come, the world would have lost an unparalleled genius. The boy's mother is completely shocked by the sage's words and can't believe what she's hearing. The sage then summons her treasure so that the entire Jiang clan can see the unborn child's bone structure. With a smile of relief and hope, the young man's mother thanks the sage immensely for her help. Seeing the two of them leaving so quickly, the people of the Jiang clan assume that not even the sage could help. But Mia tells them not to jump to conclusions and uses a strange artifact to show the truth. She then reveals that the baby is not only unharmed but also possesses unparalleled talent. The sage continues, saying that it is her great fortune to have come and witnessed this. The boy's grandfather is confused and asks about his grandson's supposed lack of natural talent. Jiang Sixen replies that it was just some nonsense spoken by a random healer. The artifact then reveals an impressive vision of 9 golden dragons pulling a coffin. Everyone is completely shocked and speechless at the unbelievable scene they are witnessing. To give you an idea, a single one of those dragons could easily crush the entire Jiang clan. The crowd then wonders who exactly is the being carried in that coffin. Inside the coffin is a young man who looks very much like his mother, leaving everyone even more shocked. Mayo announces that a celestial emperor is about to emerge because the baby has a sacred body. The grandparents cry with happiness, shouting that the heavens have finally blessed the Jiang clan. Jiang Sixen looks at her belly with great pride and says that her son has brought her honor. Seeing the family's joy, the sage approaches to make a proposal to the young mother. She gets straight to the point and asks if the young woman would consider letting her son become her disciple. The woman promises that she will personally oversee his growth to make him a powerful being. The grandparents are flabbergasted, as even heirs of the imperial clan would fight to the end for this. Jiang Wang is thrilled because the creation palace is much better than the sect the system requested. His mother then bows and accepts the sage's proposal with much gratitude in her heart. Jiang Sixen talks to her son in her womb, saying that the world turned upside down in a single day. Sage Mayo smiles, thinking it was lucky she came to the Jiang clan, or she would have missed this prodigy. The system shows the original timeline where he would only begin to cultivate at 300 years of age. With that, the mission to join a third-tier sector higher is finally completed. Jiang Wang is excited because with Sage Mao, the creation palace is the pinnacle, so he wants his reward. Now, with a sacred body and a good cultivation technique, his path will no longer have any obstacles. The reward finally appears and he gains the powerful heaven-devouring demonic art. The boy's jaw drops as he never expected to receive a technique as legendary as this one. This art absorbs spiritual energy, forming a vortex that also has healing and suppressive power. Realizing this is big chance, he decides he can't waste a single second. So the baby begins to meditate in his mother's womb, and a golden energy completely envelops him. This golden energy flows out of him and ends up spreading to the entire Jiang family present. Everyone in the room is impressed by the power emanating from Jiang Sixen's belly. Her uncle is shocked and wonders if his nephew has already started cultivating even before birth. The boy's grandparents weep with joy, thanking the heavens for having blessed the Jiang clan. Mayo smiles and thinks that no one will dare say her lineage is weak with this new disciple. As a meeting gift, she decides to give her newest disciple a valuable treasure. He is sure that with his body and his art, the treasure will recognize him as its master in an instant. With a shout of command, the boy extends his hand and calls the treasure himself with confidence. Making a mere treasure recognize him as its master is a piece of cake with his sacred body and demonic art. The treasure then flies toward his mother and is absorbed by her belly, shining brightly. Sage Maya's jaw drops as the baby made a treasure recognize him before he was even born. But Jiang Wang is still not satisfied and uses his power to improve the treasure even further. He manages to transform the item into an innate spiritual treasure and holds it with great pride. The entire family is shocked as the baby not only mastered the item but also elevated it to a new level. Maya says she was going to help, but the boy's sacred body did everything on its own and even improved the treasure. She then decides to leave her spirit crane behind to protect the Jiang family when she departs. The woman promises to return to guide Jiang Wang when he reaches the Cave Heaven realm. 3 days pass peacefully, and it seems that peace will finally reign in the Jiang clan. Suddenly, some people from the Great Xia Divine Dynasty appear at the front door without warning. A few soldiers storm the hall and shout for whoever is in charge of the family to show up. The baby already figures they've come to cancel the engagement and warns they'll regret it as soon as he's born. The leader of the guards confronts Jiang Wang's uncle about an old arranged marriage agreement. Jiang Sixin's brother is quite annoyed by the soldiers' audacity and asks what they want. General Wuqi introduces himself and says he has come to annul the marriage agreement with the Jiang clan. The boy's uncle explodes with anger, as it was the dynasty itself that requested this political marriage. Wuqi scoffs, saying that the baby of a small family is not worthy of an alliance with them. He even says that their princess is not deficient like the Jiang family's root and deserves better. The uncle becomes enraged and threatens the general's life for disrespecting his family and his nephew. But Wuqi just smiles and asks if he still pretends to be part of the powerful Luo family. The general grows tired of the conversation and decides to attack the woman to get rid of what he calls trash. But the boy's grandfather appears, and the baby swears he will use his demonic art on the soldier when he is born. The old man creates a giant energy hand, and the general screams desperately for the help of the Shuaming elders. Just then, 2 spectral hands appear out of nowhere and manage to block the grandfather's attack at the last second. 2 old men with eye patches appear and mock the Jiang clan leader for still having a strong temper. Wuqi introduces the 2 as cultivators from the court, and Jiang Wang notes their power is not low. The grandfather then accuses the dynasty of allying with infamous and wretched beasts like those 2. One of the elders gets angry at the old man's audacity and tells him to shut up with a wave of power. The pressure is so strong that the baby's uncle is pushed back, unable to resist. Seeing this, the grandfather rushes to hold his son and prevent him from being hurt by the enemy's energy. The elder takes advantage of the opening and launches a cowardly attack toward the pregnant woman. The system then detects the fatal threat and creates an emergency mission to protect his mother. Jiang Wang is outraged by the man's shamelessness for attacking a pregnant woman. A vortex of blue energy begins to form in the baby's chest as he prepares to act. He then activates his heaven-devouring demonic art to absorb the enemy's attack. An energy hole sucks in not only the attack but also the spiritual power of the 2 elders. The 2 old men become desperate as they realize their spiritual power has simply vanished. The patriarch of the Jiang clan wonders who could have intervened to help his family. Furious at being tricked, the 2 elders decide to attack together with full force. But the baby uses his treasure to create a barrier of flames and burn the 2 of them away. The 2 elders feel the powerful aura coming from the flames and are completely terrified. Seeing their ghostly hands being burned, they are shocked by the spiritual treasure. With that, the pair is forced to retreat due to the intense heat emanating from the fire. One of them then shouts furiously for whoever is hiding in the shadows to finally show themselves. The system announces that the mission was a success, and the reward is a mysterious rebirth pill. With this pill, he recovers his power and can now finally restore his family's honor. The spiritual treasure shines brightly, showing off all its newly enhanced power. At that moment, Sage Maya returns and is surprised that the boy has already used the treasure in just 3 days. She then closes her eyes and concentrates to see exactly what is happening in the house. The woman appears in flames and asks who are the blind fools who dare to touch her disciple. An apparition of her flies into the hall, announcing that the boy is the head disciple of her palace. Jiang Wang wonders if his master left some kind of contingency plan to protect him. The old man doesn't believe it and attacks, saying that a piece of trash like him would never enter the immortal palace. The baby smiles, thinking the old man is very bold to question the words of an ancient sage. The apparition freezes the 2 old men's hands, and now the baby knows there is no more danger. The 2 elders are completely shocked by what just happened right in front of them. Trying to save themselves, they ask for her name so the dynasty can look for her in the future. But the sage says that a mere 4th stage emperor is not worthy of hearing her name. The grandfather seizes the chance and flies toward the arrogant old men for a rematch. He then lands a powerful blow on one of the elders, who falls to the ground with no way to react. The old man falls to the ground completely defeated, with a serious wound on his chest and no chance to fight. The general is shocked that a simple divine apparition managed to suppress an ancient emperor. Jiang Wang smiles and thinks that it's too late for them to regret their actions now. With that, the surviving elder suggests to the general that their best option now is to retreat. Wukyu stares at the sage's apparition and refuses to believe that this is actually possible. He then curses the Lu clan for expelling a genius and bringing calamity upon his dynasty. The boy's grandfather asks the sage to spare them so they can see how great Jiangwang will become. The woman agrees to let them live so they can carry a message to their dynasty. She then declares that the marriage contract between the Jiang family and the dynasty is annulled. The baby wonders if his master is doing this to help him with the unwanted engagement. But the sage attacks the soldiers and says that they are not the ones annulling the marriage. She reveals that it is her disciple who despises the idea of marrying their dynasty's princess. With an irritated expression, the woman asks why they haven't gotten out of there yet. The sage also warns him not to forget to return the gifts, or she will come for them herself. The general, completely terrified and under pressure, agrees to everything without even blinking. The Jiang family bows gratefully, as without the sage they would have faced a disaster. The boy's grandfather then formally thanks the sage for her great kindness and help. She says it was nothing, and that she wasn't the one who used the treasure to defend them. The baby smiles and thinks that his master wouldn't dare take the credit that belongs to him. The apparition then disappears, promising to gather all the resources for her little disciple. Jiangwang is overjoyed and shouts that Sage Miao is truly his real master. The boy's grandfather is surprised, with a look on his face like he finally understood what happened. He then asks the rest of the family to leave, as he has some things to discuss with the sage. The old man asks the woman what his grandson's constitution is for him to be so absurd. With a confident smile, the sage reveals that the child possesses the archaic sacred body. The patriarch of the Jiang clan is dumbfounded, as this is a body from an ancient legend. Mao explains that the body hasn't appeared in millennia and that the boy has been cultivating since before he was born. The grandfather then kneels out of pure happiness and thanks the heavens for blessing his clan. But the sage warns that the resources to cultivate this body are enormous and they can't afford to slip up. Thanking her for the reminder, the old man promises that the clan will give everything to create a solid foundation for his grandson. Outside, Jiang Six and her sister-in-law walk through the courtyard, looking much more relaxed now. The sister-in-law, smiling, says that her nephew is incredible and that the clan's rise is near. The baby's uncle celebrates excitedly and tells him to let the Luo clan regret it bitterly. The baby thinks that he needs to win from the womb and that he'll have to work twice as hard to do it. Suddenly, an old man with a very strong presence appears in the family's courtyard. Everyone bows with great respect as this man is the ancestor of the Jiang clan. The ancestor says he already knows the situation and will give all his resources to the boy. But his mother shouts no, because the ancestor needs those resources for his own cultivation. He ignores her protest and hands over a bag with the resources that Sage Miao sent for the baby. With that, the young woman accepts the bag and thanks the ancestor and the sage on her son's behalf. The system gives him a new mission to cultivate for 1 month to shock the ancestor and obtain the Supreme Celestial Bone. Jiangwang is thrilled with the idea of getting the so-called Supreme Celestial Bone. With the 30-day countdown on the screen, he thinks that this bone comes with a unique divine ability. He feels confident that with the resources and his demonic art, he will be able to shock the old man. Full of determination, the boy then prepares to begin his intensive training. With that, time passes and a month of intense cultivation finally comes to an end. The ancestor is meditating but, feeling restless, he decides to go check on his grandson. Floating above the house, he thinks that the boy is the family's prodigy and nothing can happen to him. The old man realizes he was so focused on his grandson that he forgot his own cultivation, but is shocked by the baby's power. Jiangwang thinks that he's been at this level for 3 days, and that today he might even try for the Venerable Realm. He knows this realm separates geniuses from prodigies and wonders if he can pull off the feat. The system then announces that the mission was a success because the ancestor has already discovered his level. The boy finds it amusing and thinks his ancestor is very easy to impress. The reward appears, and just by feeling the aura of the Supreme Bone, he can already feel his power increasing. The system then announces that the fusion of the bone with his body will begin automatically. Seeing his ancestor in the sky, Jiangwang decides he's going to surprise the old man even more. He will use the power from the bone fusion to break through to the Venerable Realm all at once. With that, the Supreme Bone begins to fuse with the boy's spiritual body inside the womb. A violet energy envelops him, and he realizes the bone understood his intention to break through. The sky darkens, and the ancestor worries that a reckless breakthrough could damage his foundation. The boy's mother feels a new aura within him as he continues his power ascension. He realizes that breaking through is easy with the Supreme Bone, and that his new divine ability is to control time. The baby doesn't want the vision of his mother passing away to become real and sees the Venerable Realm as his limit for now. With his new ability, he then points to the clock of time and orders it to slow down. The clock shatters, showing that his control over time is indeed very powerful. With more time before he's born, he'll have the chance to become even stronger to protect his mother. The ancestor is shocked by the overwhelming aura that carries traces of the laws of time. With that, he flies into the heavens and shouts with joy, for the heavens have truly blessed his family. After that, a few months pass and the boy's mother's pregnancy continues smoothly. The entire Jiang family is in a flurry because the moment of the boy's birth has finally arrived. The ancestor and grandmother wait outside, worried because the labor has already lasted for 3 hours. Inside the room, his mother is exhausted, but a servant encourages her to keep holding on. Suddenly, a cry echoes, and a burst of golden energy shoots out of the house, startling everyone. The system congratulates him, as he reached the innate ancient immortal realm during his birth. Some cultivators sense the immortal realm's aura and fly over to offer their congratulations. But they wonder how an ordinary immortal could cause a phenomenon with golden lotuses. One of the guys tells his friend to shut up and not talk nonsense about the Jiang family's baby. He warns that the rumor is old and that Emperor Xia almost perished from anger upon learning of the engagement. With a golden glow and imposing armor, the Emperor of Great Xia himself appears. The cultivators are shocked, as they didn't expect the Emperor himself to come in person. The Emperor recognizes the phenomenon as the golden lotus of the bitter sea and is impressed. But a new phenomenon appears, showing splendid rivers and mountains in the sky. The spectators are shocked by the number of visions the Jiang family's monster has. The yin-yang diagram of life and death appears, and the Emperor says he hasn't seen that in 1,000 years. But Jiang Wang is still not satisfied and shouts that the diagram is not enough for him. With that, an immortal king descends from the 9 heavens, and all 5 visions merge into one. The boy's grandfather announces with great pride that his grandson carries the destiny of a future great emperor. The emperor laments that a figure with so much power was not born into his own dynasty. He even considers renewing the alliance but knows his dynasty would lose all dignity. The boy's mother holds him in her arms with a smile and says that he is her true pride. The onlookers comment that with such a son born to the Jiang clan, the Lu clan must be seething. The emperor then decides that since they offended a prodigy, the only option is to eliminate him in the cradle. With that, 5 years pass and the story moves on to a new phase in our hero's life. We see a 5-year-old Jiang Wang meditating peacefully in the middle of nature. He thinks that even with the power to alter time, ordinary cultivation is still too slow for him. A few servants approach and ask him to rest, as he has already trained for 3 days and nights. He then dismisses the servants, saying they are a bit too enthusiastic for his taste. Suddenly, his ancestor appears out of nowhere with an imposing presence right in front of the boy. Jiang Wang bows respectfully and greets the old ancestor of his family. The old man smiles and says the boy has already reached the peak of the ancient king realm at only 5 years old. But Jiang Wang humbly replies that it's been over a month since he's made any progress. He thinks that with the bounty on his head, he can't venture into secret realms. One day while cultivating, he felt a malevolent presence trying to interfere with his training. This aura was incredibly sinister and venomous, which made him quite worried and on alert. Following the origin of that evil energy, he ended up at the clan's back mountain. There, he found a cave from which the aura was coming and realized there was an entity inside. In the sky above the cave, he saw a demon-suppressing formation sealing the location. The boy noticed with concern that even that powerful formation showed signs of damage. Suddenly, a guttural and terrifying scream echoes from within the deep, dark cave. He decides he needs to find a secret realm because his current strength is not enough. With this in mind, he goes to his ancestor and tells him about the thing he felt on the mountain. The old man reveals that he also felt the malevolent presence but tells the boy not to worry. He explains that under normal circumstances, the demon cannot break the seal that binds it. Suddenly, a servant comes running and reports that the clan's secret realm has surfaced. Furious, the ancestor immediately calls a clan meeting to discuss the matter. Jiang Wang says he has already broken through the ancient king realm and is therefore qualified to participate. At the meeting, the ancestor says that the first matter concerns his prodigy grandson. The boy then announces that he wishes to leave the clan to seek experience and break through his bottleneck. He bids farewell to everyone and envelopes himself in flames, showing his determination to leave, but the elders protest, saying it's too dangerous because of the death order against him. The ancestor pats the boy's head with a caring and understanding look. He suggests that the boy take an ancient breakthrough pill, so he won't have to take so many risks. But Jiang Wang thinks that a pill like that costs 3 years of an elder's salary. The boy then asks to be heard and envelopes himself in golden flames to show his seriousness. He says that if he keeps hiding from danger, he will never be able to become stronger. With that, he implores everyone to let him temper himself in the outside world to evolve. The boy's uncle comments that, to be fair, none of them faced trials at 5 years old. Jiang Wang gets annoyed with his uncle's comment and glares at him with a not so friendly expression. The ancestor agrees that his grandson's cultivation has already surpassed most and he has the right to choose. He then warns that the prodigies from the Lu clan and the Xia dynasty have already entered the secret realm. But Jiang Wang replies confidently that there's nothing to fear from a mere ancient emperor. The ancestor laughs with pride and says that this is the true spirit of a son of his clan. With the old man's blessing, the boy thanks him and prepares to finally set off on his journey. He then flies through the skies of the clan's estate and shouts that he is leaving for the world. His family watches him leave with worried looks, wishing for his safe return. Arriving at the entrance of the secret realm, he sees a very lively scene with many cultivators. The boy approaches a young man and asks if this is the secret realm of the ancient sage. The young man turns around and wonders where this little kid came from to talk to him. But upon seeing Jiang Wang's clothes, he realizes the boy must be from an important clan. With that, he answers yes and asks which family or sect the young master is from. Jiang Wang lies, saying he is from a humble sect, and asks why there are so many children there. The young man explains that the dynasty and the Luo clan have monopolized the realm and only allow young people to enter. The boy smiles and wonders which prodigies the dynasty and the Luo clan have sent to this place. Suddenly, everyone starts praising the beauty of Princess Xia Mengqian, who has just arrived. A blonde girl says that with the mediocrity of the current generation, the realm's greatest fortune will be hers. But the princess reprimands her, reminding her of the Luo clan's son and the mysterious son of the Jiangs. She tells her cousin not to underestimate anyone and that losing the Jiang son was a great loss. A general tries to calm things down, saying it was all that scoundrel Wu Qi's fault. The two of them nod in respect to the order of the older princess who has arrived. Jiang Wang observes the girl's beauty and notes that she doesn't have the arrogance of the guy who rejected him. At that moment, a flying chariot shrouded in lightning descends from the heavens and approaches the location. The boy smiles as he feared the famous and powerful Luo clan wouldn't show up for the party. Two people descend from the chariot, a young man and a lady with a very imposing presence. A guard introduces the young man as Lu Dong, the candidate chosen by the clan for the secret realm. The young man approaches the princess and greets her with a charming smile and a confident look. But the princess doesn't seem to pay him much mind and looks at him with an indifferent expression. She then turns to the lady and proposes that the parties join forces to open the secret realm. Lu Dong is shocked and angry because the princess simply ignored him in front of everyone. With their combined forces, the secret realm finally opens with a burst of energy. A portal appears and all the young members of the clans are ordered to enter at once. Seeing the young ones enter, Jiang Wang thinks it's time to collect some interest for what they did to him. The lady from the Luo clan notices the boy's resemblance to his mother and wonders if he is the rising star. The boy smiles at the old woman and waves with a challenging gesture before entering the realm. With a confident leap, he dives into the portal and disappears, leaving the lady behind. The old woman decides she will notify the clan, for since he dared to come, he won't be leaving alive. Inside the secret realm, the boy is startled by a strange sound coming from the trees. A giant, ferocious wolf leaps toward him with its claws and teeth ready to attack. But Jiang Wang is faster and punches the wolf in the mouth with impressive force. The wolf screams in pain and anger, its mouth bleeding, but it doesn't give up the attack and continues. The boy smiles and says that now that the beast has taken the bait, it won't be able to escape. He then destroys the wolf and notices that the beasts in the realm are made of energy. With this, he realizes they have no effect on him and that the system's rewards are better. The boy then flies through the skies of the secret realm in search of new adventures and challenges. He knows the old woman from the Luo clan and the dynasty's agents are still watching him from the outside. He needs to take this chance to break through, as his current cultivation is not enough for the ambush. The system then congratulates him as the mission to locate the secret realm has been completed. The reward is an infusion of 100 years of cultivation, which leaves him very satisfied with the prize. He sits down to meditate and a golden energy begins to flow into his body. With a determined smile, he wonders how strong he will become with 100 years of cultivation. A burst of power launches him into the sky, and he leaves the cave ready for whatever comes next. Suddenly, a light shoots up into the sky, and the other young people think a celestial treasure is emerging. But the sky soon fills with dark clouds, and powerful lightning bolts begin to cut through the darkness. Seeing this, the group gets scared and realizes that it's not a treasure but a thunder tribulation. A ninefold tribulation merges into one, creating a frightening celestial phenomenon. Lulidom then suggests to the princess that they join forces to get the treasure that will appear. But she says the tribulation's level is unpredictable, and it's better not to jump to conclusions. He agrees with her caution and suggests they travel together to decide what to do when they arrive. The young man then looks at the princess's back and swears to himself that she will be his one day. Jiang Wang faces the Palace of Lightning and says with a smile for it to come at him with everything it's got. With a war cry, the boy fires a beam of golden energy toward the tribulation. The energy hits the palace and solidifies it in the sky, showing its grandeur to all. With that, a shower of lightning falls from the heavens and strikes Jiang Wang with devastating force. But he withstands the lightning and even scoffs, asking if that's all the tribulation can do. He then decides to use his heaven-devouring demonic art to absorb the lightning's energy. The tribulation reacts, and the lightning bolts merge to form a giant warrior in celestial armor. The lightning warrior then attacks the boy with a barrage of powerful and swift thunderbolts. Jiang Wang faces the attack head-on and says that the timing for this was simply perfect. He then flies toward the giant warrior without showing a single bit of fear on his face. The giant points at the boy and prepares to launch an even stronger attack than the last. Jiang Wang stands still and takes the shower of lightning on his body as if it were nothing. Jiang Wang uses his clan's sword art to create a light that shines over the 9 heavens. With a war cry, he launches a beam of golden light toward the lightning warrior. Watching the battle, the crowd wonders what absurd existence could attract such a terrible thunder. The princess is shocked at the thought of an ancient emperor under 18 years old. Luo Dong realizes the young man is a threat and decides he needs to eliminate him under the lightning. The sword of light hits the lightning palace, and a massive energy explosion occurs in the sky. Everyone is thrown back by the force of the blast, and the entire secret realm trembles with the impact. Lu Dong creates a protective barrier for himself and the princess so they aren't hit by the explosion. The girl thanks him for his help with a gentle smile and a calm, serene look. After the dust settles and the light dissipates, there is no sign of Jiang Wang anywhere. People wonder if he failed the tribulation and perished, his body and soul destroyed. Lu Dong takes the opportunity to invite the princess to join him and form a team. But she refuses the offer, saying she already has a team, and that he would only slow them down with his power. The young man becomes furious, as no one dares to refuse his offer in such a manner. He then swears to himself that the princess will be his, one way or another in the future. Suddenly, Jiang Wang appears nearby, and the princess praises him, saying he is very handsome. The boy thinks that his clan's techniques expose him too easily, and that he needs new skills. The princess then touches his shoulder and calls to him with a soft voice and a curious look. He notices her strength is low, but since she's from the dynasty, she hasn't recognized him as an enemy yet. She then asks with a smile if he is really as scary as he looks. The boy praises the princess's beauty, saying he has never seen anyone as beautiful as her. She flicks his cheek and says he's quite brave for entering the secret realm. He lies, saying his clan has fallen and that he needs the realm to try his luck and survive. The princess then invites him to come with her, even promising to take him to her dynasty. The boy accepts the invitation with an excited smile and says it's amazing that she's from the dynasty. With that, he joins her group and walks beside the princess, making Lu Dong jealous. The young man gets furious and threatens the boy, saying he is courting disaster for ruining his plans. He then takes out his anger on a spirit wolf, destroying it with a single powerful punch. The princess is impressed by the boy's physical strength and asks if he is from a certain clan. Jiang Wang smiles and says he was holding back, otherwise the shockwave would have injured her. He then notices that the guy from the Lu clan has been following them the whole time and wonders what his goal is. Lu Dong uses a pearl to trap the princess and warns that she won't escape his grasp. With a malicious smile, he reveals that the princess's 9-yin body will also be his. Night falls, and the two camp in a cave to rest and protect themselves from the forest's dangers. Jiang Wang approaches the princess and asks to sleep with her, saying he's a little scared. She laughs and pinches his cheek, asking what the little monster who tears apart beasts is afraid of. The boy insists he's scared and asks if the young lady has a Dao companion to protect her. With a sad expression and a distant look, the princess replies that she has no one. He is shocked and asks how the beautiful princess of the dynasty has no one courting her. She explains that there are many men around, but they all have impure intentions and approach with ulterior motives. The princess asks if he has ever heard of the exquisite 9-yin body. She explains that this body is very beneficial, and evil sex hunt women with his constitution. Jiang Wang says he understands and promises to kick the butt of anyone who dares to show up. The princess smiles and tells him to get some rest, as he is still young and needs to sleep well. The two then sit in silence around the campfire to rest and recover their energy. The boy notices that Lu Dong is still nearby and keeps an eye on his movements. He decides he needs to get rid of that animal as soon as possible to have some peace. Suddenly, the prince appears in the forest, and he wonders what she's doing there alone. She scolds him for going out alone, and says she doesn't know what family he's from to be so stubborn. He apologizes with a regretful expression and holds her hand affectionately. Lu Dong watches the scene from afar and becomes consumed with jealousy and rage toward the boy. He then flies toward the two and shouts for the brat to prepare to punish for challenging him. Jiang Wang smiles and says with a confident look that he's been waiting for him the whole time. The young man then stumps on the ground, creating an energy blast that sends Jiang Wang flying. The princess gets angry at his attitude and asks what exactly he is trying to do there. He replies with a malicious smile and says she will find out what he wants very soon. The young man prepares to use the ancient pearl and warns that she will know what he wants. He then launches the imprisonment pearl into the sky with the intention of trapping the princess. The pearl creates a pink energy barrier that completely envelops Jiang Wang and the princess. The girl is furious at the young man's audacity and shouts, asking how he dares to do that. The princess tries to break the barrier but fails and becomes furious with the situation. She threatens him, saying that if he doesn't free them, her dynasty will declare war on him. Lu Dong smiles and says she can try, but her threat doesn't scare him one bit. The girl then takes out a talisman and warns him not to regret his actions. With that, she breaks the talisman and tries to tear open space to escape the barrier. But to her surprise, the rescue seal fails and she is shocked by what happened. He laughs and says the pearl was refined by an ancestor with deep knowledge of the Tao of space. The young man warns that all energy operations below the emperor level are sealed in there. The princess then turns to Jiang Wang and says she will use a method to send him out. Lu Dong recognizes him and says he must be the abandoned son of the clan from 5 years ago. The girl is surprised by the revelation and looks at the boy, not understanding the situation. Jiang Wang then tells him never to associate him with that cursed Lu clan again. With a smile, he asks if Lu Dong really thinks he has already won the battle. The young man laughs and says there's no need to rush, as he will end his life in his clan's name. The princess begins to tremble with anger, her body slumping in frustration and helplessness. She calls him a shameless demon with a look of pure fury on her face. The girl then tells Jiang Wang to go get help while she holds him off for as long as she can. But he calms her down and says he has a simpler plan to handle the situation. The boy then flies into the sky and envelopes himself in a powerful, golden aura of flames. Ludong is shocked and asks how he can use spiritual energy even inside the pearl. Jiang Wang looks at the imprisonment pearl with an air of disdain and superiority. With a smile, he snaps his fingers and the barrier shatters into 1,000 pieces in the air. The boy says he doesn't like being underestimated and advances toward the young man to change his attitude. He then touches Ludong's forehead with a finger and stares at him with a cold, calculating gaze. The young man is completely shocked by the boy's speed and strength and is unable to react. With that, his spiritual energy begins to dissipate rapidly, and he screams in despair. He is thrown back violently and falls to the ground with a bloody nose and an aching body. The princess covers her mouth with her hand, shocked by little Jiang Wang's display of power. Ludong struggles to his feet, refusing to believe he was defeated so easily. The boy asks if he is satisfied with the strength of his clan's abandoned son. The young man kneels and begs to be spared, promising not to tell anyone what happened. But Jiang Wang says he will visit the Lu clan before he comes of age to collect some interest. He then creates a sphere of golden energy in his hand and holds it with a threatening look. With a quick gesture, he throws the sphere at the young man and tells him to get out of there. Ludong screams desperately and asks what the boy did to him as he is hit by the energy. Jiang Wang warns him to run and that he can live if he manages to extract the golden core in time. The princess scolds him for letting him go, as he will bring disaster to his family in the future. But he reassures her, saying that the little thief won't be able to escape his grasp. Ludong runs through the forest and shouts that when he returns to the clan, he will get revenge on the Jiang family. He swears with hatred in his heart that he will personally crush every bone in Jiang Wang's body. Jiang Wang begins a countdown and smiles at the princess with an air of mystery. As soon as he finishes counting, an explosion happens in the distance, lighting up the night sky. He laughs and says he was just kidding and that no matter how fast Luodong runs, he will explode. The princess says her father regrets breaking the engagement and that this could be an opportunity. The two go to the explosion site and the princess asks if this is where it all happened. He replies that he is not a divine child and that his cultivation was only strong at birth. She smiles and asks if he was the one who created the thunder that filled the sky and caused chaos. The boy sighs and says he didn't expect a simple tribulation to cause such a commotion. The two then fly through the skies of the realm, and the boy laments that the heavens envy talent. The princess watches him and thinks that with his handsome face, he looks like an ancient descendant from the mortal plane. She scolds herself for thinking that and blushes at her own thoughts about the boy. Jiang Wang sees her being quiet and asks if she is upset about something that happened. He then confesses that he used her as bait to lure Luodong and apologizes for it. But she smiles and says she's not angry and even thanks him for removing a threat. The boy is relieved to hear that, and the two continue their journey through the secret realm. They return to the camp and continue their trip together, exploring the mysteries of the place. Night falls again and the two sit around the campfire to rest and talk. The princess thinks the rumors about the reincarnation of a great emperor might have some truth to them. She admires him and wonders how many in the younger generation can compare to him in talent. With that, she approaches him with a curious look, and he moves away slightly suspicious. The princess is shocked and speechless at the boy's audacity and stares at him in surprise. He smiles and wonders who will be lucky enough to marry Sister Xia in the future. She scolds him for having sordid thoughts and warns that she'll have a word with him later. The girl says he doesn't understand the Lu clan and that they won't let the matter of Luodong's demise rest. She also reminds him that the dynasty and the Lu clan have set up an ambush for him outside. Jiang Wang asks what she can do, and she says if he accepts her methods, she can get out and handle him. Although the Luo clan is not an ancient family, they possess several powerful dormant experts. The princess then offers him a spiritual treasure that will hide his aura even from Luo Wangqiu. She says that besides helping him eliminate Luodong, the dynasty no longer needs to be his enemy. But he replies that he has no goodwill toward the dynasty, and that he will make Wu Qiu pay for his crimes. She then surprises him by asking what would happen if they handed Wu Qiu over to him. He questions if she really has the authority to demand something so serious. She explains that her father was deceived and would hand over Wu Qiu to appease relations with him. Jiang Wang says she saw him at the peak of the ancient emperor realm with her own eyes. He understands that's why she believes he is worthy of persuading the emperor to hand over Wu Qiu. But he warns that her father has never seen his power, and that the rest of the world wouldn't believe it either. She gets annoyed and asks if he is refusing her jade pendant after everything she offered. The boy explains that he doesn't want his friend to suffer the same as he did and won't give them a reason to dishonor her. The princess blushes and is surprised by the word friend, looking at him differently. He says he understands her intentions but cannot accept the pendant as it would cost him his self-respect. He says he needs to prove to the world that her choice is correct before he can accept the pendant. She calls him a smooth talker and says she will make sure he's not just all talk and no action. The boy smiles and promises that from that day on, his name will echo throughout the dynasty. He then holds his spiritual treasure and calls for his master with a serious expression. Sage Mao appears and jokes that he only remembers her when he's in trouble. He asks her not to underestimate him and says he has only one request to make of her. The boy explains that he took down the Lu clan's junior, but there's still an ancient emperor he wants to take care of. With that, he asks her to set up a formation to prevent the Lu clan sage from detecting him. The sage agrees to help him, as those who cultivate the Tao should act as they please. With his master's support, the boy flies into the heavens and prepares to give it his all. He then shouts for all Taoists to hear that he is going to purge the secret realm. With that, he tells everyone to rise to the heavens and gather behind him within 15 minutes.